decided to change our setting to a more relaxed setting. Yeah, it is golden hour, as you can see. Hey.
I'm having my ice cream.
Yeah, she didn't want to let it go for the recording, so we decided to remove the plastic and the noise, and so here we are.
It's really nice, by the way. You guys should try it out. It's just that we're not advertising for any brand. Yeah. So, but then it's really nice. You can just drop there by the inbox, and then I'll explain.
Yeah, no, it's a very good ice cream. It's a split ice cream. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's very nice. Nice brand.
Grab yourself some ice cream. Popcorns. Yes. Let's just chill.
Yes.
It's been a long day.
Let's just unwind and relax and talk about academics. Ooh, ain't nothing more chill than academics.
Let's make academics fun, because every time somebody talks about academics, like, we just envision like this office space with people wearing, like, you see those tiny big glasses and like with a lot of big books. Now that's important also, like, read those books, but then we just have that mindset, but then there's more to it. It can be fun.
It can really be fun.
Have your ice cream and talk about academics. I'm doing it.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong.
I look at it as a lesson, like a life lesson. Like, academics are, it's just learning. It's just going through life. It's not just being studious and like, gotta know this by tomorrow. It's a journey. It's just a part of the process, you know. And we just want to get to a point where we can appreciate that journey, where we all can appreciate that journey and understand as we're going through that journey what we are actually going through and how to combat the different challenges we face. So I remember in the first episode we were just talking about knowing your why in this journey of, and when you're getting into your masters, you must know your why. You must have your why close to you, so that when certain circumstances come, when trials and tribulations do come, you hold on to that why, and that why will carry you, you know. And so in this episode we wanted to talk about, in the midst of the journey, what are the people you need, you know, to carry you to the destination that you want.
Yes. So in this session, we're mostly focusing on the relationships that you have to build within, like, the academic space. Remember, academics become a part of your life. Like, this is your everyday living, especially when you come and do your masters. That's when you get to realize that this is basically my life, and it could either make you or break you, and that is mostly also decided or impacted by the relationships that you are building around you. So the relationships that you build once you enter this field, they play a vital role in who you're going to become at the end. Like, they play a vital role in the why. Like, it's one of those key elements that accompany the why.
Very true. They very much do. Yeah. And so there are certain people that are going to be there for a season. You just have to know the role of each player in your life, of each person in your life, you know. One thing I remember in the beginning of my first year, the first person who I, became friends with, or who I formed the bond with, was Gift. Because we were starting this journey together. And so we started on that basis of relating, of like, this is a new environment. We don't know what's going on. It's a new place, and we're trying to figure it out together. So I remember we had a very strong bond, just trying to navigate the different administrative challenges or the coursework and whatnot, you know. So I think the first person that you need in this journey, or that's going to help you in this journey, is a peer. You need a strong connection with a peer. And, you know, I always get this talk in academia where it's like you can't trust anyone, where like always watch your back or whatever, which is very sad, because we really need one another. We really need to be there for one another in this journey. And so if you can find one or two people that you're able to be like, this is my peer, when I'm feeling this type of way, this person can relate, they can understand, because they are going through the same thing, and we can kind of lift each other up, you know. Where I'm failing, they can maybe pick me up, and when they're failing,
you can do the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's really important. The first, the peer aspect of it. Remember, the academic world is like an ocean. The moment you want to dive into academia, it's like a fish. Like they just take you and then they throw you in there. You know, And depending on the different types of fish that we have, like in the sea, others are prone to being hunted by the bigger fishes, right? So you need to form a pact with someone, right? So you find that one peer because you're lost. Remember, you are in the ocean. Even though it might seem like it's an environment where you have to be like, you feel that you love school and everything, but then still, this is an environment. It's big. You have to swim. You have to know your way around different territories. You have to know what to do. And normally, when you have a friend to navigate that with you, it's much safer to do that.
Exactly.
And you're even able to get familiar with the environment a bit more quicker than when you do it alone. It's mentally safer, if I can say.
Literally,
it's mentally safer to do it with someone, and let the someone also be there to reinforce the reason why you are there.
Exactly.
It mustn't only just be any other peer to say, yeah, no, it's my friend, we are doing this together, but then may they know your why also.
You can't both sync.
Yes, you can't both. That's true. You have to fit into each other's whys. So that's you need to choose that peer wisely, and you need to feed into each other's whys, and you need that peer because it's easier to navigate life in that big ocean or the sea when you're with somebody than when you're alone. So
that's very true. I think I was fortunate enough that the peer that I had, we're complete opposites. Like, he's very technical. He's someone that's able to be like, no, we need to do things like that. He's very technical, and he knows his way around the structure of the school, the structure of maybe the administration and whatever. He knows the comrades. He can ask them about certain things and whatnot, and that really, really helped me, because I can't imagine having someone who was exactly like me, just so helpless as well, and just trying to figure out like what's going on in this environment, and so it really helped me in terms of adjusting to that world. It really did help in that regards. So having a peer who's gonna compliment you, who's not just gonna feed into all your blind spots, like all the things that you are. It's also someone who's gonna challenge you and be like, okay, maybe I'm lacking in this regard, maybe I'm lacking in being alert in that in this manner, and so I need to gain that skill. There's a certain beauty in relationships and in friendships, because that person's qualities, you kind of like, maybe subconsciously or maybe consciously, but they kind of impart onto you. They at some point start to impart off of you.
That's really true.
So it's a beautiful thing to be able then to learn from them, and they learn from you as well. So I guess we've unpacked so much about like the peer. You need to find the peer. And
I think another thing that's really important is you need a mentor.
Yes.
Like, you need to get yourself a mentor. And I know it's not easy for most of us to get a mentor, but also the mentor comes from the why. There's one, we once attended a postgraduate symposium, and they had invited Mam Kheti. I love that woman.
She's amazing.
She is. And she said something about mentorship that actually changed my perspective, to say, we love just getting anyone and anywho to just be like, come and mentor me. But then here's the thing also. The mentor, the person who's coming to mentor you, needs to know what direction to go. And that direction is guided by me. And that me comes from my why. For instance, if I need a mentor, I need to know, why do I need a mentor? Like, in what areas do I feel like I need somebody to pour into me? Like, in what area do I feel like I need somebody to guide me through? Because the mistake that we normally make is we find this well-renowned person within your field, let's just say within maybe clinical pharmacy or whatever anyone is doing. You find this well-renowned professor or lecturer and all of that, and because they just have like and they've built a name for themselves, we feel like, oh, it would be really good to have them attached to my name as my mentor. But then the question is, who do you want to become? And if you know who you want to become, then you need that will like guide you in terms of, do you really need this professor to be to be your mentor, and not necessarily just have like their name to
attached to you,
to yours. So I think it's really important to know what you really want, and as a result of that, even when you go and search for a mentor, that person you'll be able to actually guide that person towards the areas that you need them to assist you in. And at the end of the day, you won't only be somebody who said I had a mentor, but then you be somebody who would have like the fruits to show for it.
This was my mentor. That's true. And also one of the things that she did mention is that in your pursuit for a mentor, you also have to look at their availability, because during that session there was a student who was like, can you be my mentor, asking Prof Mamuketi, and she's like, no child. You need to find someone who is in your space, who is around you, who's within your community. So don't just seek for a mentor because like she's saying they're well renowned and they have this big name attached to them. Are they going to give you the time of the day? Are they going to set that time to be like, oh, I haven't checked on Walu, or you know, we're supposed to, because it's supposed to be it's a relationship, you know, and so are they honoring that relationship? Do they have enough time to nurture that relationship? So those are the things then you need to seek out for. Would this person have the time of the day to be like, I'm going to set aside an hour or two or whatever amount of hours they're going to set out for you, you know? So that time factor, that availability is very important as well, you know? So and a mentor doesn't have to be a supervisor.
That's true.
So if you think that like, now that I have my supervisor, they're going to be my everything, they don't have to be your everything. Your supervisor can just be a supervisor. It can be a supervisor, but it's not always the case. And don't be discouraged if it's not, because that's just not then who they're supposed to be. You know, it can be someone that is going, like she's saying, is going in the direction that you want, and there's something in them that you know that if you had that, it will propel you as well. With that why, it will propel that why as well, you know. And so
may we not only be people who want to be attached to a brand because it's established and you want to be attached to a brand. Remember, your attachment to the brand doesn't guarantee that you will be like the brand. Because that person worked really hard to be where they are. So you also want to be developed into a specific brand. So you need to work on that. And if you need different resources, get those resources. That's why it's really dangerous, or it's really not wise to just attach yourself to people because of the brand that they've built for themselves. It's like you're building your own. So if it's that one lady who's the cleaner and you feel like she's gonna assist you with something, sure, let her be your resource. You know, if it's that one mister who hasn't yet become a doctor or a professor who could assist you with resources, information, edit your your articles or whatever, go for them. If you know it's that one person who could assist you with certain projects along the way, go for them. Remember, the goal is one. You are building a brand for yourself. You are establishing yourself also, you know, like you are your brand, you know. Walu Sungu is her own brand. Who I get out of here as is highly dependent on what I decided to associate myself with.
Exactly.
That would define my why, you know.
Exactly.
So,
to have that success, it's a strategy, and you need to know who you are, your why, and how all those people in your life are playing into all of it, you know. So, so we first have our peer. So get the right peer to walk this journey with, because they will make it bearable. They'll make this journey bearable. And the next thing will be your mentor. You know, find someone who is available, someone who feeds to your why, who is on that journey that you want to go to, you know. And then I think the third thing for me, I would say, when it comes to your supervisor, I think then if your supervisor is just a supervisor, then understand the role of your supervisor in your life. It's very important to understand that. I made the mistake of thinking my supervisor was going to be my best friend. We're going to be like out here having tea, having lunch, doing our best things. But you have to realize...
Climbing some mountain.
Climbing mountains, hiking. No, child. No.
Don't get it twisted.
It's not always the case. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. Chill. But it's not always going to be like that. So don't go in with curb your expectations. I'm not saying that it won't be like that for you. Definitely could be. But just understand the basic role of what your supervisor is in your life, and then work with that. Whatever comes out of it, if a beautiful friendship comes out of it, that's great, that's amazing. But just know that this person is a guide. In your masters, you have a guide, and your supervisor is supposed to be your guide in terms of completing that task of your dissertation. You know, that topic that you have, they're going to make you the master. They're going to guide you to become the master in that topic. You know, that is the first and foremost basic role of what they are in your life.
That's really true. You reminded me of something. My supervisor once said, so there was a time where we actually had to submit to a specific committee and all of that. So there were certain corrections that I had to, that were made by reviewers, the people who were reviewing a protocol, and I had to like change them. And then some of those changes I would be like, but then I don't see anything wrong. And I remember saying that to him, and he looked back at me and he was like, yeah, no, then leave it like that. I'm like, am I allowed to? And he was like, it's your work, Walusungu. This is your work. Like, you are the majority shareholder, or you are the owner of this work. We're just, as Daisy said, we're just here to like guide you through the work. We're just here to like make you realize some of the things that like maybe we feel like, or we think maybe you could change. But if you feel like you're comfortable with it being that way, then it's fine. It's your style. Let's keep it that way. At the end of the day, you don't want, with the masters, I love how we call it master, because you'll be mastering in something. Even your own work, you'll be mastering your work, your research, to be specific. It has to have your style in it. You don't want at the end of the day your research to sound like maybe it's your supervisor's style. You know, like when we are reading your supervisor's paper and then we read your paper like, I can sense and smell your supervisor all over this thing. We need the fresh skill. We need the writing skill. We need your talent. We need everything. We need to see and feel Walusungu in that particular paper. That's how also we get to evolve. Academia gets to evolve. That's why now building yourself, building the Walusungu brand. So in that moment, I realized that yes, you have a supervisor, as Daisy is saying, but then the supervisor is not there to do your job. Like, it's not like you are just, it's unlike undergrad. When we do our research in honors, the supervisors are just like there with us, like working hand with us, like you're a group and you're working through this. But with the masters, everything is in your hands. You are the master of your ideas. You are even when I have meetings with my supervisor and co-supervisor, the first thing is they want to hear what I have to say first. And then the one thing they'll come and do is just say, do we agree with your decision? Is there something maybe we could advise you to do better? But at the end of the day, I initiate the ideas, and then they give me guidance, they correct me, they assist me wherever they can. But most of the work, it's mine, because I have to, at the end of the day, be the master of my own work.
Exactly.
So
No, that's so beautiful. They're exercising that autonomy, you know, and just like they're saying, they're just guiding you in finding your own voice through your work, you know. And I think let's not fall into that trap of thinking that now I'm just gonna relax and they're just gonna show me. It's not the same as B Farm. Now you are it's in your hands. Whether it fails, whether you get those results or not, it's in your hands. And they're just there to see that you are taking the path that it will lead to your success, that will lead to your completion, you know. And so so that would be the role of your supervisor in this context, that just they're a guide, and they're supposed to help you just find that voice. But at the end of the day, you're the one who it's your voice. You're the one who's finding that voice, you know. They can be like, no, I don't think this is you, because they're also, one thing I love about that as well is that they can see you from angles that you don't necessarily see yourself, you know. So where you, as you're going into this narrowly, you might have some blind spots. They're also then able to see that, like, actually, if you go this direction, you might hit a wall. So let's maybe go this way, you know. And so they're able to offer perspective, that perspective to say, no, I think this is the direction then that maybe you can take to be able to achieve this goal faster or better or with more ease or something like that, you know.
Really true. And if I can just add, I know right now it's more like guiding the people who are like about to enter into the master's thingy, but then if I can just go like on the other side, maybe speak about supervisors, if we get any supervisor who watches this video. as a supervisor, you play a vital role in terms of shaping the voice of your students. I'll give you an example with my supervisor. I'll forever be grateful for my supervisor. My supervisor picked up a talent in me that actually shaped most of like that developed my character, developed even like I started developing confidence even within the research space. I remember my supervisor wouldn't stop saying, you're a great writer. Like every time I would send him a draft, even if it's the roughest draft, he'd say, make these corrections, but at the end he'd say, well done, Walusungu. You're such a great writer. Your writing skills are amazing. It's such a great it's a great privilege to work with you. That on its own gave me so much encouragement to keep writing. That even when I have to continue like working on my proposal, working on my dissertation and all of that, it just gives me that it gives me that strength to go an extra mile, to learn more about writing, to it built me, like it really built me. And I remember even saying it to him, to say all those the compliments, supervisors, it's okay to give compliments to your students if you find like there's a place where like you identify like the strong points inside of them. It builds us as a student. Even with my co-supervisor, I remember her saying, it's really good, it's really nice working with you. And I'm like, okay, why? She's like, yeah, you're involved, like you suggest ideas, and then we just here to guide you, and you write your own things. So them picking up those things and actually articulating them back to me to say, this and this is what we actually feel like is actually something great that you're doing. It built me, and it also helped our relationship, because I'm like, they're doing their best, let me also do my best. Exactly. And that voice in my work, like they're just like, it's like they're pruning it, they're polishing it up and all of that. So even just your brand, you'll be confident even when you leave the space to say, I can write.
Exactly.
I can actually
we have that affirmation.
Exactly, you have that affirmation. So you play a vital role in your students' life.
That's true. Words, what I always say is that words have the power to build or to break.
That's true.
And so if you're responsible for someone, because someone is looking up to you for that guidance, and you constantly berating or you are not encouraging, obviously that's gonna break. That's gonna make them question their worth, make them question just how good they are, all of those things. But you also have the power to build. You have the power to say, well done. You have the power to say, hey, you were so great at this. How about we change this? Your words can be a source of life. And so that's definitely true, Walu, that we need to be more careful in how we then present ourselves as supervisors to our students.
That's really true. Okay, so I think another aspect I want us to touch before we actually close this video is, I think this one is a more general one in terms of the relationships you have to build within, like when you plunge into this pool. Guys, you need to collaborate. Collaboration. You meet someone, for instance, okay, I'll just start with something simple. You need a statistician. You meet someone in the corridor, and then you hear, oh, I'm also doing my master's in whatever. And then as you hear more about what they're doing, you get so much more information from them. At the end of the day, you might end up finding your statistician from that person that you actually just had that conversation in the corridor. You attend conferences. You just don't attend conferences and show people how good you are. This is my work and then I'm done. What next after that? Remember, academia is not just about what I'm doing now. It's about what are we building for the future. What are we building towards? So when you have a goal, let your goal be what's this? Long term, not only short term. I acquire my master's and then after that I'll see what I do with it, if I want PhD, if I want to go to work. No, think about the future now. Like, what do you want with it now? That will also guide you in terms of collaborating and working with other people. Right now, you know that, okay, with my research, I know I need to work with maybe physicians, whoever, dietitians and whoever, or maybe I need to find statisticians, or maybe I'm interested in vaccinology or something, and then I need to, maybe when I go to a conference, I find, oh, this person is actually doing their study in this. How can we actually incorporate both my study and their study together to do something? Always be on the lookout of somebody you could actually work with for the betterment of whatever career you are actually in. Remember, it's not only about what you're doing now. It'll be such a waste if it's only about what you're doing now. Think of something long term.
That's true.
And it'll benefit you also, like now and also long term. Because so collaboration.
Very important. Very important. A man is not an island, and so you realize that when you step into a building, you are becoming a part of a community, and so you need to be selective as to who is going to be, or intention as to who's going to be part of that community. You know, this person, no one is just useless. I don't believe that. People are not useless. You know, there's always something in someone that you can gain. You know, and not in a I'm using this person way, but through that relationship, through that friendship, we're also building each other. So what then can this person? What am I gaining from this person as well? It's very important in academia. You know, it's very important. I know that for me, with my statistician, it was a thing where it was just someone I used to hang out with, and then along the way, it was like, I can just help you out. And it was at a time when I really needed a statistician, and there wasn't anyone around to do it. You know, and so those kind of like relationships, don't take them for granted. Maintain them, build on them, and you see just how much they flourish.
That's really true.
But you know, it's not bad. You know, it's very beautiful because you get to learn relationships, you get to learn how people work. I love this about academia. You meeting all different types of people, all different types of characters, and now you're asking yourself, then how can I then become a part of this community? How can I relate to this person? How can I build within this group? You know, and so there's a lot to learn. It's not just studying. It's not just studying. It's not.
Studying is like 10%? 10%,
honey.
You read a lot. There's a difference between studying and reading.
Yes.
Maybe that's
that.
But then you read a lot. It's not only about the studying part. Obviously, you're reading to learn. So it's the learning process and we learn in different ways. We learn in different ways. We learn from people. We learn from what we're reading. We learn from experience. So it's really not that bad. It's really exciting, actually, coming to think of it. It's actually super exciting sometimes.
Yeah, it really is. Well, thank you guys. Our time is up now, and next time we'll be discussing some of the challenges then that you might face during your masters, you know, and how to overcome, how to make it to the finish line, how to run the full race. Exactly, navigate through it. So thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you, Daisy.
Thank you, Walu.